Oh, there's Lilo. We are booting into Linux. Oh, good. It sees the hard drive. Oh, look at that. Booting Arch Linux 0.1. Amazing. Oh, well, here we go. All right, so we can log in as root to begin the installation. And then install instructions are available in the system while we're installing if we switch to another terminal. And I am going to do that. No mail. Aw. The other thing I'm going to do is reference a GitHub gist I found, which is, well, how to install Arch Linux 0.1 to a GUI in a VM. Of course, we're not doing it in a VM, we're doing it on real hardware, but that gist will be handy for getting us into a graphical X Windows environment. Anyway, if we do Alt and then an F key, we can switch between different terminals. So I'm going to do that so I can have the Arch install instructions open. So I'm going to do vi arch install.txt. So here we are, the instructions, and if I hit Alt F1, back to where we're actually going to do the install, and I can switch back and forth. Okay, so a few things are left out in the official Arch instructions here. If I go fdisk-l, I can see the partitions on the disk in the system. So we'll need to do fdisk dev disks disk 0 disk. We will delete that partition. We'll add a new primary partition. This will be the swap partition. So we will make this plus 128 megs. And then a new partition for our install, which will be just the whole rest of the thing. And then we need to toggle a bootable flag here. So A, partition 2. All right, that seems good. Make that first partition swap. And then I want to make a file system. And we have makefs.extended2. So let's use extended2 on the other partition for our install. Yeah, see, this isn't so bad. Aside from the quality of the instructions improving greatly over the years, it's the same kind of process. All right, so now we need to mount the partition to mount and then initialize Pacman. So let's do that. We just need to create that pacman.db file, not a whole directory. Okay, and now we just have to run this install world on mount, which is kind of like the modern packstrap. So install world /mnt. Check it out, we're installing stuff. All right, pacman AR/MNT, installing this file system package. Could not extract user share man is a directory. I mean, I think it's installed. Okay, now we're going to extract the Linux kernel source, compile it, and install it. Make dir/p mount user source cd mount user source, and then tar zx vf Linux 2.4.18. So yeah, quite an old kernel, obviously. All right, time to chroot in. Yeah, there is our source code for the Linux kernel. And now we can do make menu config. And this will give us a very nice menu-driven configuration for building the Linux kernel. Yep, there we go. So going to the GitHub gist, it wants us to use RiserFS. I don't like RiserFS, so we can skip that. Code maturity level options, okay, prompt. Okay, we need /dev file system support, automatically mount at boot. All right. Now let's build this kernel, so make dep, and look at it compile. Compile in the kernel, what is my life? Clock skew detected, your build may be incomplete. That's probably fine. All right, we are almost there. Now let's just double check Lilo, which is the bootloader. Yeah, that looks correct. That's our disk 0/disk. All right, now we run the Lilo command. Added Arch, I think we're good. Now let's edit fstab. Change our root password. Something nice and secure, and definitely not just the word action. And I believe if we reboot now, we should boot into Arch Linux 0.1. All right, disk is out. Hopefully we will see Lilo appear. Oh, look at that! Lilo boot menu, automatically booting into Arch. Oh yeah, it worked! Look! We're booting off the hard drive. Yes! Oh my goodness, look at that. We are booted into Arch Linux 0.1. Oh, no mail. Alright, cut the jazz. It's time to get gooey. Alright, it is command line CD-ROM drive time. So mount the CD-ROM drive to /mnt. And then from the CD-ROM, we're going to install xFree86. And then run ldconfig. Now, here's where we may need to peer inside the machine. We're going to run xf86config. And this is going to ask us a bunch of questions about our hardware. Okay, let's figure out what the mouse device is. I believe it's going to be dev PSAUX. And we can test this in kind of a funny way. We can follow the file at dev PSAUX, and if little stuff comes up there when we move the mouse around, yeah, look at that. That's where our mouse is, and it's detected. All right. Control C out of here. Now this has been all kinds of messed up. Let's restart. Linux straight from the void. Let's try this again now that we know where the mouse is. So PS2 mouse, no 3 buttons, and dev PSAUX. Choose the keyboard. Now we have to set specifications for the monitor, which we're just going to guess. All right, so we're going to go SVGA 800 by 600. Vertical sync range, we're going to guess number 1. Do we want to look at the video card database? Yes, this is where we have to peek into the system here. All right, let's look in here for ATI Rage Pro. Bunch of ATI Rage 128 seems to be the closest match. All right, at this point we should be able to run StartX and boot into a graphical environment, assuming that our settings are correct. Hey, it's work! Oh my god, it worked! Oh, something's not quite right with it. Maybe we need to do SVGA? Alright, after a little bit of tinkering with the modes in the config there, we have X Windows. It is TWM, of course, which is quite minimalistic, but there are some other options on here. There's Window Maker, which is probably what we're going to go with, because Window Maker is the next step interface, but let's see if they have anything else in here. Let's see. There's no GNOME, no KDE, no XFCE. Pacman, a Window Maker. Okay, now we need to change our xinitrc, which doesn't exist actually. So we'll make it. And then in here, we just need to do exact wmaker. Let's see if I did that correctly, because I'm doing that from memory. Nope, I did it wrong. Oh no, we need to install more stuff. We're missing dependencies, and I don't know how to install dependencies correctly. Let's do pacman /a lib tiff. Okay. Doing dependencies manually. Hey! Oh, it's glorious. Look at it. Look at it. It is Window Maker in all of its wondrous glory in Arch Linux 0.1. Oh, we did it. We did it. There we have Mozilla on the CD-ROM 0.9.8. Can we launch it? No, we need these libraries too. Okay. There's probably some way to do the dependencies automatically, but I'm not really a computer guy, so I don't know. Hey, look at that. We have Mozilla. What a beautiful web browser this is. Look at that. We are not online, of course. I don't know if we're going to get into configuring networking. Do we have ifconfig? We do. And it does not see the network card in here. So I guess we're not going online unless